In the movie, it is shown that a killer kills the boss of a toy company, but killing this man turns out to be the biggest mistake of his life, because the army of toys he has created takes revenge on the killer. Finally, let's know how Army of Toys revenges the death of her master from this man. In the beginning of the story of the movie, we are shown a man named Jason, who is a hitman, and he kills people for money. But here he starts to see through binoculars the person he wants to kill. Actually, the person he wants to kill is a very big man. He owns a toy company and has a lot of money. This guy has a toy fairy in his hand, which he is readying now. Jason wears a mask on his face and goes inside his building to kill his guy, but there are some guards outside the building, who try to stop him, and he reaches the security room, killing all the guards one by one, and when he reaches there, he turns off all the cameras. Now Jason takes the mask off his face and approaches the owner of the toy company and shoots him dead. Now Jason picks up the toy fairy that the owner of the toy company has just made, where he finds a broken picture that belonged to the owner of the toy company's mother, and under the picture there is something written, but Jason doesn't pay much attention to it. Now he takes this toy fairy with him, and gets on the plane and starts to go home, and with that, he tells his client, "I have killed this person." As Jason arrives at the airport, he finds that news of the death of the man he killed has spread throughout the city. Here he sees a girl with a toy, and it is the same toy he saw in the toy company owner's house. He's a little surprised to see this, but he doesn't pay much attention to it, and when his eyes go to other people, they also have toys in their hands. As he saw in the toy company owner's house, Jason arrives at his house and puts the toy fairy in his room that he takes from the dead man's house. Because every person he kills, he takes something from his house to keep as a memorial to that person. Jason is pretty tired, so he sleeps on his couch, but when his doorbell rings in the middle of the night, he checks the door with his camera. There is a girl with a box in her hand. Doesn't open it, so she leaves the box at his door. Now after she leaves, Jason takes the box inside his house, and before opening the box, Jason is quite scared because he doesn't know what is inside the box. There is a note written inside the box. There was also a signature, and this signature was the same as the one on the picture of the man's mother. Jason was quite scared when he opened the box, but after getting courage, he opens it, and inside the box, there was nothing as he thought, and inside, there were some army of toys with their own guns, and there are some helicopters. Now when Jason is in the kitchen, the box of Army's toys falls to the floor. Jason is quite surprised to see that because he had kept the box quite well. How could it have fallen down? When Jason approaches the box, he discovers that Army's set of toys is missing, and he becomes even more worried, and strange things begin to happen in his house. As his curtains move by themselves, and the lights in his house turn on and off by themselves, Jason notices a cable in his house that has been cut by a soldier. And then a soldier comes and attacks his foot. When Jason pulls the weapon from his foot, he realizes that the Toys Army is behind it all, as he looks under the table. So there's a Toys Army below him that attacks him above his mouth, causing him to recoil. Now the Toy Army fires a small missile at Jason that hits him on the leg, and the missile catches fire in Jason's pants. Jason goes to the washroom to escape the Toy Army, where he finds that his leg is badly injured, along with his mouth. There are many small bullets on it. Jason tries to look at the Toy Army using the mirror from the washroom and sees the Toy Army blasting all the lights in his house to make it dark. Now a soldier sees Jason, so he attacks the mirror, which breaks the mirror. Now Jason angrily takes out his gun and starts shooting at them, but all the soldiers that were there are hidden under couches. Since the bullets have no effect on them, Jason goes into his kitchen cabin with a large gun and starts firing at them repeatedly, silencing the entire Toy Army, and taking advantage of the point, Jason removes all the cushions from his couch, and the couch is riddled with bullets. Jason then turns the couch over and sees that many soldiers have been killed, and the soldiers who were alive are helping their comrades. Jason can't believe his eyes as they put them in his Jeep and try to drive away. Now he crushes many of the soldiers with his foot, but the soldiers who were still alive are still attacking Jason. But their shots have no effect on Jason. But when Jason fires a single shot, he kills many of the soldiers now that he thinks all the soldiers have been killed. But then he sees 3 Toy Army helicopters coming towards him, and they attack him with their little missiles. So Jason goes back to his washroom to avoid them. And here he sees that he has been badly injured by the Toy Army's attack, and starts cleaning up the wounds on his hands and mouth. Now Jason decides to stay in the washroom until morning, as it is very important for his safety. But then a helicopter flies into the washroom and attacks Jason. But Jason, with the help of the towel in his hand, grabs the helicopter and throws it into his washroom. Now Jason tries to flash the soldiers, but those soldiers will not die so easily. So he takes his hairdryer and puts it inside the toilet, which gives an electric shock and kills all the soldiers. Now the soldiers who were outside throw a letter inside the washroom, on which is written surrender. Jason is very surprised to see their understanding that how each of the Toys army can do all this. Now Jason also replies to them, to which he refuses to surrender. When Jason peeks out the door, he notices an army of Toys preparing tank to attack him. Now before he realizes anything, Toys that army starts throwing balls at him, which breaks the door of his washroom. Jason jumps out the window to save his life, but he can't escape. Because it is the 14th floor, he tries to go to the balcony comfortably, but then another helicopter comes and attacks him. But Jason had a gun in his hand, which he fires at the helicopter, which crashes the helicopter. On the other hand, the Toys army were waiting for Jason to come with their guns pointed at Jason. Jason enters from the other side and attacks the Toys, from which some soldiers of Toys army start running away from here. But many of the soldiers were still attacking him, so he took a lighter and fire spray to burn them and find and kill the soldiers who were hiding in his house. After killing all of them, he starts counting them, and after counting, he is sure that he has killed all the soldiers. But there is a bonus surprise written on top of the box, which he doesn't notice. Jason goes into the pool to relax, but cuts his hand in the pool. When Jason comes out, his hand is bleeding profusely, so he begins to stitch up his own cut hand. Jason is so upset that he starts to leave his house, but as he starts to go down the elevator short circuits, which causes the elevator to get stuck in the middle. It was very dark here. Jason turns on his phone's flashlight to check, and even then his eyes land on a commando who is still alive. And he's messed up the elevator now before Jason can catch him, and he's out of here. Jason opens the ceiling of this elevator and goes into the parallel elevator and starts going down. But due to the fall from the top, he was injured so much that he could not even walk. But then a commando also comes there and starts attacking him on the chest with his knife. But his kicks don't have much effect on Jason, so he knocks him down with his hand. Now Jason grabs the commando and puts his head between the elevator doors. So when the elevator doors close, his head explodes to his death. After killing the commando, Jason is overjoyed and feels that he is now completely safe. But then he notices that there is a bomb inside the commando's body, and before he can get out, the bomb explodes and Jason dies. At the beginning of the movie, Jason, who takes the toy fairy to his house, starts dancing in the joy of her death, and the movie ends with this scene. Friends, if you like the video, then subscribe to the channel. So, I will meet you in the next video.